Hello everybody and welcome to another episode on the X4 Kingdoms End guide. Today I want to be going through some absolute basics for those of you who are joining us for the first time on X4, and it's basically how to get about, how to fly your ship, a couple of little tips about your ship, and then hopefully you can go from there to actually be able to fly around and find things out for yourself. So first things first, yes, you can play this game with a joystick. I play it with a mouse just through personal preference. However, you can play it with a joystick, and there are plenty of guides out there on setting it up. Captain Collins has some great tips on his setup for his joysticks. I will be working on a joystick one myself, but for now I play mouse, so everything I do will be based off mouse and keyboard. Joystick is just basically whatever you've set to what the mouse and keyboard did, obviously, is what it's going to equate to. So just bear that in mind if you do decide to do that. So without further ado, let's talk about moving about a station. So if you do a young gun start, you are literally dropped in a sandbox with no direction whatsoever, and you're placed on a station. From here, you can look around at the station. You're on the docking platform. So from here is where you get your ship, which is this ship here. We know that because it's got the symbol on the side of that basic symbol there. All these can be changed at a later date, which I will go through as well. Right. So, as I say, mouse to look around. WAS and D is your walking abilities. In this game, double tap W allows you to run faster. Get out of the habit of pressing Shift and W because, as you can see, it does things like that. And then you have to then go to wherever it was you were going. So say I was trying to get to the station, I'd be like, oh, I've got to go back again and go, oh no. It's really annoying, so just get used to the... let's just get rid of that. There we go. So just get used to trying to not press the shift key to run around. This game also does have the crouch jump system, so you can crouch and jump at the same time. Obviously, this isn't an accessible area, but you can technically crouch jump. It will work. There are certain things in certain places, like up there, you can do it. Just a little bit of an extra there. Jumping is your spacebar. Jumping isn't a major thing, but as I say, if you press your spacebar and then control, you do slightly duck under things. Sorry, not spacebar, C button. Sorry, not your control button. It's the C button. So spacebar, control button allows you to duck. But you can see you can't actually tell you're ducking unless you keep hold of it. There you go. So, spacebar for jumping, C button for crouching. Shift D is your go-to if you have a ship you're already assigned to. As we are the captain of this ship, then pressing Shift D will automatically teleport us to here. If we have various ships on the station that belong to us, that are our owned property, it will bring up a little menu up in the middle of your screen to choose which ship it is you want to teleport to. This will only work for ships that are docked and are out of internal storage. Might not make a little bit of sense now, but when you get into playing the game, it will make a little bit more sense. But basically, when ships come in to land, if it's quite a busy time, they will place them into internal storage, so that will drop down into there, and then you have to call it out of storage to use it. So that's that there. Right. Whilst we are on the station, there are certain things we can do. I'm not going to worry too much about these things because they are more in-depth things to be covered at a later stage. But let's quickly talk about it now, just so if you do figure things out and you want to move on, you can do it. Pressing the M key will bring up the map key. You notice here, it's pretty standard. It's a map. Ta-da! But from here, you will be doing a lot of your economy, a lot of your galaxy control, all that kind of stuff. Again, we'll go into major detail on the maps throughout the guide. Right now, I just want to give you a quick concept. From here is the easiest way you can gain access to your dock interactions, player information, your options, encyclopedia. Wait for her to finish talking. It also gives you access to your tutorials and help. These are very useful if you need to remember things. They are actual tutorials that you can do, or they will give you information on certain things. But you click it, you click start tutorial, it'll then go into the tutorial for you. You can use external resources if you so wish, which is the manual, the wiki, forum, YouTube channel, and the 6 things that were covered. What is X4? Trade, flight, build, think, explore, strategy. That's the 6 things you'll be doing whilst in X4. And that was done by Bernd Lahan. Pretty awesome if you haven't seen them. Dock interactions are things that you'll do with the dock itself. Obviously, there isn't much you can do, and we haven't got much in the way of credits, but I just want to give you a little insight into it. If you hover over and it has a shortcut, it will tell you what the shortcut is. Shift D is, we've already seen, goes to ship. Player information is all about your player. This is where you can go to adjust his name or her name. The organization, if you wish to create an organization. Logo, which I spoke about earlier, which is the side of the ship, and your default ship skins as well. When you start getting a collection of them, they'll all be here, and they will all automatically update once you change. As you can see, mine's just done it straight away. And that will happen to all of your ships. That will do. Come on, stop talking to me. That will update all of your ship color schemes of the ships that are currently using the default color scheme. If you get mission-specific ships with mission-specific color schemes, or you steal ships, they will not change. They will have their own technical color scheme. So, that's how you move around. Let's get into the ship, and let's have a quick look at the ship and how to fly it and get out of here. So, obviously, if you hover over here, you can press the F key, or you can press the mouse button. It then brings up the docking interaction menu again. It allows you to give you your ship information now, so whatever ship you're on, you can view it. You've got the undock option now, and you've got modes as well. We can't do much with the modes whilst we're sat down doing nothing, so let's go ahead and undock, which again is the shortcut key Shift D, which was the same as teleporting to the ship. So you'll get to this stage, and then you'll be like, well, hold on a second, I can't move, I can't fly anywhere. I can go up and down, maybe, I can go left and right. That's about, how do you turn? If you're not using a joystick. Okay, so from here, you have your usual WAS and D, which is your up, down, left and right. You also have your Q and E, which allows you to roll. And you can set pitch and stuff like that.
Navigation. Prepare to dock. Confirmed.
Okay.
Requesting permission to dock.
So,
Docking permission granted.
there we go. We finished talking now.
Bring us into dock.
Nope.
Confirmed.
So, this, when you're flying ships, they have various modes and methods of doing things. At the moment, you'll notice the little white, bluey white dot that's in front. That's my weapon systems tracking my turret. Sorry, my mouse controls. Now, if we go into an external view, and you'll see if I move my mouse, it's technically aiming at where my mouse would want to be, which is obviously the left-hand side here. The right side, you can see the turret actually moves. It's dynamic. You can change that in the settings if you so wish. However, it is as default as that. Middle mouse button, if you've got one. We'll fire it. Let's just jump out so we don't shoot stuff. Mouse scroll wheel allows you to scroll the speed, which we'll talk about in a second, but let's just get out of the station. Here we go. Right, we're safe. So, back to where we were. Pressing your spacebar will shoot directly ahead of your ship. So if you want to control your ship that way and you want to move it around that way, you can do. Or you can use your mouse. And the turret will move, and the ship will move as it gets to that stage. However, as standard, the ship will not move anywhere. To gain access to your ship flight control, if you press your shift and spacebar,
We will be scanning your inventory.
you will get police scanning you left, right, and bloody center. But if you press your shift spacebar, it'll allow you to have steering mode activated.
You can go. The scan came back clean.
By default, it will give you the pop up there to tell you that it's activated and how you've activated, so then you know to deactivate it. It's the same key again. That allows you now to basically effectively fly your ship in any direction. The Z key is your reverse key. So it will do maximum reverse if you keep it held. I use scroll wheel, so I can scroll wheel back to reverse. Your X key would be the accelerate key, but I have mine disabled. However, if I'm going in reverse, I can make it go to 0 to stop myself. But I use the scroll wheel, so it allows me to scroll forward to speed up and reverse, obviously, backwards. Your tab key is your boost. There we go. We'll wait for him to stop talking for a second. Are we done yet? Nope. Now we're done. So, as I was saying, tab key is your boost key. When you boost, you will go to automatically maximum velocity. So if you want to stop, you need to stop. To stop yourself dead is the backspace key, and it will actually brake for you slightly. Same as if you're in your spacesuit. If you want to brake, you press your backspace key, and it will bring you to a dead stop. Boost works also at slight angles as well. So if you're strafing and you press boost, it will boost you forward, but it will also help you boost to the left or right, whatever it is you're doing. So it is dynamic to whichever direction you're going. That's pretty much all you need to know to fly. That's about as simple as it gets, really. There are very much more advanced capabilities, but realistically, if you want to get out and fly, and then you can start messing around with things, you can go into your settings. So press press the escape key. You can go to your settings, go to your controls, and then you can look at what controls you have. The only other thing that I will mention, so it's a little bit easier for you, if you want to start looking for missions, you need to scan the station for leaky signals. There are 3 modes you have that I've mentioned. The modes are accessible if you press the Enter key. The Enter key also has your ship interaction menu. So you can set weapon groups, numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. For your primary and secondary weapons, obviously this ship doesn't have secondaries, but you can set it up as a secondary weapon if you so wish.
Have you actually flown a real ship before?
You can get up. Again, you notice it gives you the shortcut, which is Control D. So instead of being Shift D, it's now Control D, and that'll get you up. Your ship will continue doing whatever it was doing. So if you're flying in a straight line and you press Control D, it will continue flying in a straight line. Still have access to your ship information, Shift J. You can deploy if you have deployables. They will be in your menu. As you can see, as standard, you have 5 satellites, 5 navigation beacons, and 5 resource probes. Again, not going to go into them because that is a little bit more advanced. And you have Flight Assist, which will allow you to have assist mode. So you noticed I have assist mode just disabled there. So now if I start to apparently continue to go in reverse, I believe flight mode may be broken. I will have to have a look into that because that should not be doing that. I believe it's because I've got my joystick connected. Right. There we go. That'll be because I have my joystick connected to my gameplay, so it is picking up the joystick, unfortunately. So let's, there we go, let's remove the joystick and let's try again. Nope, still broken. Very interesting. Well, that should allow you, so basically that if you travel in a straight line and then you cut your power, it will coast. It will also not help you as much when it comes to trying to motion stuff. Flight Assist is really good. The other option you also have that I will comment on because it's one of the things that a lot of people like or don't like sometimes. But if you go to your game settings, there's certain things that you can adjust here. First one is autosave. If autosaving gets annoying, which is why I'm bringing it up now, you can't adjust the intervals. Be careful when you adjust the intervals because there is a lot that can go on in that 40 to 80 minutes. So, yes, it might be slightly annoying, but it also may save you a disaster. Emergency eject. If you can emergency eject, this used to be a mod. They've now placed it into the game. It will emergency eject you from your ship so that you don't die. If you die, it is game over and you have to restart from wherever you saved. And if that happens to be 160 minutes away, that's 3 hours of your time you're not getting back, or almost 3 hours. Ship behavior. These are important. Auto roll. Auto roll is basically if you want to roll and you want it to stay rolled, so you can view it from upside down or whatever it is you want to do. You can remove the auto roll so that it will stay rolled. So, for example, if I roll myself now, that's it. It sits there. However, this game works off all axis. So, if you fly around like this, you'll probably forget that you've rolled yourself, so then you may end up with stations all over the bloody place, and you're like, well, where is everything? And you're actually flying underneath the plane of everything. So a lot of people use auto roll, so that it will just basically bounce back like that, and your jobs are good. So just bear that in mind. Go back to the game settings. Collision avoidance, kind of handy, because if you come into a little bit too fast, now I'm talking not like Mach 1, where you're going to smash into the side of it, because you will smash into the side of it. However, if you're going a little bit too quickly and you go towards something like a ship or a station, it will kind of bounce you off using the shields. But what that also does is it stops you from actually physically damaging the ship, which could potentially cause you to have a threat against you, and they will shoot you. Boost toggle. It does exactly what it says on the tin. You can toggle whether your boost is on or off. Aim assist. I usually leave aim assist on because I like to do more of the economy side of things, and the combat side of things sometimes I do tend to get a little bit carried away. Aim assist just makes it a little bit easier, so it will track your target a little bit easier for you when you're shooting it. Certainly easier when you're in smaller ships because you're flying around at like ridiculous speeds. Sometimes it can be a little bit easier with the aim assist. And then maintain speed in menus. This is the option where basically if you want it where every time you get up and you forget, or if you're in a menu and you're forgetting, it will actually drop the speed completely to 0. I do not like it because obviously if I'm trying to do something and then I want to go, oh, well, actually, whilst I'm heading to XYZ, I'm going to work on my economy. So I will continue to fly. If you have this off, then it will drop you to 0 every time you did that. Everything else is completely up to you, and I'm not going to go into too much because this is just the interface. Again, we don't need to look majorly into the interface at this stage because realistically it's not that important whilst you're flying around. Going back to what I was talking about, the modes. So from where we had here, we had the modes. Oh, that was not the right one. So you'll notice from here you have travel mode, scan mode, and long range mode. Again, the game is very handy. It gives you the shortcuts for you. Travel mode shift 1, scan mode shift 2, long range scan mode shift 3. Well, it's the difference. Travel mode is exactly what it says. It travels at a ridiculously high speed. It will take time to build up. Depending on the size of your ship and depending on the engines you have, will depend on how fast it takes to get there. But you can see now we're doing 800 meters a second, 900. Whereas, obviously, our standard speed is about 180. You'll also notice it will continue to slow down a little bit until it gets to your 180. That's your travel mode. That's basically how you're going to get about. One little trick, if you are in a rush and you're trying to escape, if someone's shooting you, you cannot enter travel mode. However, if you notice that the ship goes into travel mode pretty quickly. So what you can do... I don't know why my flights... There we go. Flight assist is now enabled. Oh, there you go. So now, it's now working. Do you notice... I'm 0 thrust. And I'm continuing to move forward. There we go. Flight assist is now re-enabled. So now I am at max thrust and max speed. If I slow down, it'll slow me down. I'm glad that's now working again. It must have been my joystick, so I do apologise on that one. I'm going to actually leave that in. So you might be thinking, well, why didn't I cut that out? But actually, I'm going to leave it in because that's something you need to consider. If you've got a joystick applied and your joystick is being picked up, there may be things that it will override. For me, it was because I've got something next to my joystick, which was actually pressing the accelerate button in reverse. So it was kind of reversing. It was like dethrusting me every time. So I'm going to leave that in just as a pointer to remember to make sure that if you're not using a joystick but you have one in, make sure you have it unplugged or safe. Okay, so back to my travel mode that we've covered. If you want to get to travel mode a little bit quicker, if you boost and then jump into travel mode without using... Oh, I missed that there, sorry. So use your boost and then travel mode. You'll notice that I went down to about 600 meters a second before the travel mode picked up. It'll allow you to escape, but bear in mind, you notice the little blue line is your shields, which we haven't covered. Boost uses your shield power to boost. No shields, no boost. No shields, you die. So just bear that in mind. Next, we have the scan mode and the long-range scan mode, and they come with fancy colours too. Scan mode is your short-range scans, so if you want to pick up missions or you want to scan blueprints and stuff like that, this is what you would use. Your long-range scan mode allows you to press and hold the L key and then let it go. And it will scan the entire sector for you from, well, it won't do all of it, but it'll do quite a large area depending on how much power you put into it. If you keep hold of the L key, it will go, There you go, see, big red line, and it fails. So you got to time it correctly and just go, and it pings everything and it passes through. What that will do is you'll notice you'll start to get these little unknown station question marks, so you know there are stations in that area for you to have a scout at. It will also show it on your radar. You can see the 2 question marks on the bottom section of my radar, just here. You'll see the little 2 unknown stations there. So, last thing I'm going to do, in case you are struggling, or in case you are really overwhelmed and you're like, oh, I need to just like get somewhere safe and not die, you can dock on most stations that you are friendly with. You know it's friendly because it's blue. Red, it's the enemy. So, docking. As a default pilot, on a default start mode, you have a very basic docking computer, so be very careful with this. And we're going to go through with it now as I finish off for this episode. But flying to a range, I think it'll pick it up from here. It will pick it up from here. Press Shift D.
Docking granted.
You'll see now we get some green lights. That's directing you to where the docking platform is. So comfortably fly yourself over to the docking platform.
Stop that criminal.
There we go. And you notice for here, it's either a fabrication bay or a maintenance bay. As you enter the doorway, it will automatically slow you down. So you're now in like a docking procedure or docking mode or whatever it is you want to call it. But it will slow you down on the inside, so your maximum speed now is about 50 meters a second. You can break that by boosting, but be wary. You will smash into something if it flies in, and your collision avoidance won't kick in. You'll now notice that it's given us a docking platform of docking platform 10. We know this because there's a little green ship telling us how to fly. So we'll go up to the ship. And you want to take it nice and easy now, because then when you get close by, you'll get this little thing in front here. This is the angle of your ship. And you'll notice that there are green markers all over the place. So you've got your roll, your pitch, and your yaw, and obviously your height and whatnot as well. You'll notice all of these little markers will move around, so you can get your angle. So what you want to do is you want to line it up so that everything starts going green. There you go. So we've got green markers there. So you can see it's not quite in the center of it, but as long as it's within that little area there, it goes green, so you know that that's accessible. So now we know we are level, we are straight, we are above the platform, and we are in the middle of it. Then all we need to do is drop ourselves down so that the V goes into that connection, and then it will finish off the rest of your docking.
Successfully docked.
You get your docking interaction come back up, so which you can then get up,
Welcome.
come out of your ship, and we are exactly where we left off. No, I'm lying to you. We are one platform to the right. But you get the gist. Hopefully that's helped you figure out some of the very basic commands of the ship so you can actually fly. If you get any questions or comments on the basics, then please let me know in the comments section. I will cover more basics if you require it. However, I tend to try and give as little as possible in terms of how to do things, more... Have you considered this, or this is how you do the very basics, so now you can then improve on that and advance and do your own thing. Because this game is very much however you want to play it, your style, it's your economy, it's your universe, your galaxy, it's all yours. What you do is up to you. So, hopefully that's helped you out. Hopefully it's given you a little bit of enough to basically go out there and fly, shoot stuff down, maybe get yourself shot down a couple of times as well. Remember, it's no harm in just restarting the game and doing it a few times over and over. One thing I will suggest, one very important thing, is give yourself time to have a look at your controls. You have your general controls, which is, as it says, most generals. You also have your platform movement, which is all of the stuff that you can do on the platform, and your menu navigation. It also gives you all of the shortcut keys as well. Make a note of them. But if you do forget, remember that if you have a menu that has it accessible, it will show you what it is. Final thing I'm going to say before we go is remember that the game only pauses when you are in this menu here. Game paused. There are occasions where sometimes it will overrule it when you're in the background and you'll see game pause in the background there, but 95% of the time the game will be running when you're in any other menu. That stops you from being able to do stuff whilst you're paused to try and circumvent events from happening. So events are technically flowing as you're making your decisions. A little bit more in depth like that. So again, I hope you found it a little bit easier to fly your ships now. If you've got any questions, comments, or anything like that, remember, do leave them in the comment section below. I will continue to make more videos covering this. If this video has been helpful, please hit that thumbs up button. I do really appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And remember, if you are a fan of the channel and you want to show some support, then from just £1 a month, you can become a member. And I will be putting out member-only content or preview and sneak peeks for members as we start getting into the new campaign. Until next time, everybody, take care for now, and I shall see you all on the next one. Bye-bye for now.